Today we're diving into Yanis Varoufakis' recent interview, where he lays out some explosive thoughts on the future of Europe, Trump, and the shifting global order. I've picked out 5 key moments. We'll watch each one, and then I'll break it down with my own take. If you're into sharp geopolitical analysis without the fluff, consider subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Let's get into it.
These electric Olivetti typewriters were dead in the water. No reduction in the wages of the people making those Olivetti electric typewriters. No subsidy by the state would have saved them. The PC had come. Well, similarly, folks, the electric car has come. CATL and BYD batteries have come. We have new forms of turning wind energy into green hydrogen that was developed in China, in the United States. You know what? Europe has not invested in any of these things. We are now in the situation where Olivetti was with its electric typewriters in the 1970s. So we had, as DiEM25, we had a policy which we call the European Green New Deal, the Green New Deal for Europe. We ran, Sergio and I and others from DiEM25, we ran in 7-8 countries in 2019. It was a magnificent program. I have no doubt that had it been implemented, Europe now would not be in these dire straits. But it wasn't implemented. And we missed a technological revolution. And the result is, even the powers that be that wax lyrical about political consolidation and common investment programs and so on, well, they don't even talk about it.
This is a brutal but fair analogy. Europe had the chance to lead in renewable energy and green tech, but instead, it's doubling down on militarization. For Americans, this matters because a Europe dependent on U.S. missiles and defense systems means Washington shoulders even more responsibility, and taxpayers end up footing the bill. It also shows how the U.S. is shaping Europe's priorities, not the other way around.
Another great development in 2024, of course, is Donald Trump. We've already had a program here, so I will ask you to go and listen to that. I won't repeat too much, but just briefly, epigrammatically. Trump won for a very simple reason, folks. The Democrats, Biden, Kamala, that whole motley of particularly interesting idiots, they were telling the American people, the American working class, that they've never had it so good. The American people were telling them, no, that's not true. We can't make ends meet. We are bankrupt. We can't afford a house. We can't afford to put groceries in our basket in the supermarket. We cannot afford to put petrol in our car. And if in the United States you don't have a car, you're dead. You can't go anywhere with this urban sprawl and the lack of public transport and so on. So, Trump looked at these people and said, I feel your pain. There is carnage in America. There is a lot of discontent. I am your man. Whom do you think they voted for? They voted for Trump. I think there are another 2 things that I need to say about Trump. Trump promised to end the Ukrainian war in 24 hours.
This part hits home. People don't vote based on GDP numbers. They vote based on their grocery bills, their rent, and whether they can afford gas. Varoufakis is basically saying Trump didn't win because of ideology, but because he spoke to the pain of everyday Americans. The question is, will Democrats learn from this? Or will 2028 look like 2016 and 2024 all over again?
I'm pleased that there is a president of the United States, even if he doesn't mean it, even if he's a hypocrite, a fascist, a misogynist, and all those things that Trump is, who wants to end the war, especially a war which is a complete dead end. It's just a meat grinder, killing young men from Russia, from Ukraine, and also civilians. For no reason. I mean, nothing is happening. There will be no victory, either on the one side or the other. So it's good that he's promising that, but I don't think he can deliver this peace. And he can't really deliver it because Putin doesn't want to end the war.
Here's where things get complicated. Trump is appealing because he talks about ending endless wars, but Varoufakis is right. Peace isn't that simple. If Putin's demands are impossible to accept, no U.S. president can just sign it away. Still, the fact that Trump is talking about peace makes him stand out, while Biden is seen as doubling down on escalation. That contrast alone can shift votes.
Slapping huge tariffs on imports from Europe and primarily from China, but from Europe as well, and therefore creating circumstances for industry to return to the United States. He will not succeed in doing that. Because remember, his number 1 priority is the stock exchange, the financiers, and the real estate. He's a real estate agent. That's what he is, personally. Okay, and real estate and the stock exchange in the United States only does well as long as the Chinese and the Germans have a trade surplus with the United States, because that surplus gives them the money that then they take to the New York Stock Exchange and to Miami and to California and to New York to buy real estate.
This is one of the sharpest points in the whole interview. Trump talks about bringing back American jobs, but the U.S. financial system needs Chinese and European money flowing into Wall Street and real estate. So the contradiction is clear. You can't have tariffs, protect domestic industry, and at the same time rely on foreign capital. One promise will break, and history suggests it's the workers who get left behind.
Very interesting technologically. It uses blockchain as well, for those of you who are interested in blockchain technology. That allows them to trade with one another in their own currencies, bypassing the dollar system and therefore the sanctions. Countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates are also interested in the BRICS because, they don't want to put all their eggs in the American dollar basket. However, it is a mistake to think of the BRICS as an alternative Soviet Union or Warsaw Pact that is going to create checks and balances for American hegemony. It is a mistake to think of it that way. Don't forget that India and China are almost at war within the BRICS. Don't forget that the United States is pushing Apple to shift its factories producing. We just had a little earthquake here in Athens, but I think everything's okay. Right, Maren? Yeah, well, the ground shakes when DM does its live stream. So Washington is pushing Apple to shift its production lines from China to India. So you can see there is a lot of antagonism within the BRICS. So there's no way there's ever going to be a kind of geostrategic alliance. What they have, the common interest that binds them together is they don't want to be under the thumb of the Federal Reserve. Every transaction to be ruled over by the American Central Bank and the American government. This is what they have in common, but this is not enough.
This is where many analysts in the U.S. get it wrong. BRICS isn't a new Soviet Union. India and China are rivals. Saudi Arabia and Brazil have different agendas. And China itself doesn't want to take on the burdens of global leadership. What unites them is resisting U.S. financial dominance, not building a new empire. For Washington, the danger isn't BRICS as a military bloc. It's BRICS slowly creating financial systems that weaken the dollar's grip. That's a long-term challenge Americans should pay attention to. So, Varoufakis paints a dark picture. Europe in decline, the US stuck in contradictions, Trump making promises he can't deliver, and the world slowly shifting toward a multipolar system. Whether you agree with him or not, his analysis forces us to question the narratives we hear every day. What do you think? Is Trump the only US leader even talking about peace? Will BRICS really challenge the dollar? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get a discussion going.